Hey everyone, welcome to the System Design series. So in this video, I'm going to cover Redis, which is a very popular cache store. So let's see the schedule first. So first of all, I'm going to go over the general concept for distributed cache, and then I'm going to introduce what is Redis. And after that, I'm going to briefly go over the benefits of Redis, and finally, I'm going to use a concrete example to explain how Redis can be used as cache. So let's get started. So first of all, what is distributed cache? So in computing, by definition, a distributed cache is an extension of the traditional concept of the cache used in a single local. So a distributed cache may span multiple servers so that it can grow in size and in transactional capacity as well. And usually in distributed system design, we don't usually use local cache. And usually, distributed cache can be a better choice. And what is Redis? So Redis stands for Remote Dictionary Server. So it is a fast, open source, in-memory key value store. So the original developer of Redis started the project because he wanted to improve the scalability of his startup. And from there, he developed Redis, which is now used as database, as cache, and some other use cases as well. So Redis delivers sub-millisecond response time. It enables millions of the requests per second for real-time application in different industries like gaming, ads, financial services, so on and so forth. So today, Redis is one of the most popular open source engines. And because of the fast performance, Redis is a very popular choice for caching, for real-time analytics, for session management, so on and so forth. So, what are the benefits for Redis? The first one I want to say is performance. So all of the Redis data resides in memory, which enables low latency and high throughput data access. So it's not like traditional database. In-memory data store do not require a trip to the disk. And in this case, it reduces the engine latency to microseconds. And because of this, the in-memory data store can support an order of the magnitude more operations and faster response time. So the result is blazing fast performance with average read and write operations taking less than a millisecond, and it supports millions of the operations per second. So the next thing I want to say is flexible data structure. So it's not like other key value data store that offers limited data structure. So Redis has a number of the data structures to meet your application needs. So for example, it supports hashes, it supports bitmap, lists, set, streams. So quite some common data structures supported in Redis. And the next thing I want to cover is the simplicity. So Redis enables you to write traditional complex code with fewer and simpler lines of the code. So with Redis, you write fewer lines of the code to store, access, and use data in your application. So the difference is that the developers who use Redis can use a simple command structure as opposed to the query languages of a traditional database. So for example, you can use Redis hash data structure to move data to a data store with only one line of code. So Redis has support for many languages. For example, Java, it supports Java, it supports C++, it supports Python, supports Go, and many other languages. And then the next thing I want to say is the replication and persistence. So Redis explores the primary replica or master-slave architecture, and it supports the asynchronous replication where the data can be replicated to multiple replica servers. So this improves the read performance significantly. Also, it enables us to recover for the, so let's say if there is an outage for the primary server, you can easily recover using the replica. And for persistence, Redis also supports the backup, which means we can copy the Redis data to disk. And then the next thing I want to mention is that it has high availability and scalability. So Redis offers the primary replica or master-slave architecture in a single node, or using a cluster topology. So this allows you to build the highly available solution providing the consistent performance and the reliability. So the last one I want to mention that it is fully open source. So Redis is a great choice for implementing high available in-memory cache to decrease the data access latency, increase the throughput, and save the load for your relational or NoSQL database and also your application. So Redis can serve frequently request items at the sub-millisecond response time, so we can use Redis as cache to cache the database query results. So for example, if you remember one example we use when we try to introduce the cache basics, it is about how we build a website. So for the website, we have the front-end server, which is mostly about authentication, authorization, logging, and we have the backend server, which contains the modules for business logic, and also we have the database for read and write of the data. So usually, to execute the SQL query, it takes more time because potentially it can result in a trip to the disk. So what we can do is you can introduce a cache in between the backend server and the database. So this cache, one choice is we can use Redis, of course. So in the Redis, we can cache the database query results in the Redis. So that's just one single case we use Redis. And of course, there are many other use cases we can use Redis as cache as well. And that's it I want to cover for Redis. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video clip.